wrap, small jumbo popcorn chicken, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. Just $5. The 2 for $5 menu, only at Sonic or in the app.
Let's talk about your home for a minute. Not so much about improving it or about additions being made to it, but about buying and selling a home. Charlotte Mabry is here with the Charlotte Mabry team, and she says she's going to give us kind of some good news in the midst of what is also some factual news. Is that a fair way to say it?
That's a great way to see it. I need to get you to write my ad copy for me.
Well, yeah, I had a conversation with one of my children, and there was kind of an issue going on, and I could see this particular child's position and concern, and I said, I see it, but that doesn't change what is.
Correct. And you know, we can all have our opinions and perspectives, but ultimately the facts do play out. And so I brought some slides today to share, if I may, that give just some factual data about what is going on. First one is home sales. You know, we typically stay somewhere in that 5 to 6 million range of homes that sell every year.
That's nationally.
That's nationally. And we've stayed along in that line here, even through the times where it seems like you couldn't find a house to buy. We were still selling that many homes. So we had to be creative and maybe sell those homes outside of the norm. If you look at home prices, those have continued to go up. But interestingly enough, on this graph, we average, and I've said this for years, 3 to 5%, on average 4% appreciation a year. You can just pretty much count on that in the world of owner-occupied residential real estate. There were times where the market dipped and we saw what was perceived to be no appreciation. And then we look at the past couple of years of 20% a year appreciation, which wasn't sustainable like we talked about. However, if it's always moving forward, but it will feel a little different today because we've been seeing prices go up so quickly, 20% a year, that when it only goes up 4% a year, you're going to think, wow, something is wrong. No, something is normal. We're back to normal.
Okay, let me pause for a second and ask you something. So I think all of us probably got to a point, if you own a home, we're sitting on our sofas feeling kind of cocky.
Oh, very.
For a while, when you would go on and you'd see what your Zestimate was.
Like, whoa, this is awesome,
Zillow,
right? Yeah.
But that, just because it says that, like an appraiser will tell you it'll appraise for something, but what will people actually pay?
Right.
You can't go by what Zillow tells you.
Very rarely can you do that. It's like looking at the stock market, and today IBM might be worth, this stock might be worth this much money. But there's no guarantee today or tomorrow that it will actually sell for that. It depends on what's going on in the market. And so that's where you have to use a local real estate professional to give you that perspective. Because what something is worth and what it takes to sell it can sometimes be two different numbers.
Okay, let's talk about the local side of things. Because you just shared kind of a shocking statistic with me about this. Is it an institutional buyer? Is
Correct.
That what you call it?
One of our slides, I think one of the last ones there, talks about the number of homes being purchased today, and pretty much over the past 2 or 3 years it's been consistent, where large institutional buyers have purchased and or local families are buying houses as well. And it's a great opportunity to build your personal net worth to own rental real estate. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But like you can see on this graph, like the state of Texas, all of those states in purple there, nearly a third, 1 out of every 3 of the homes that have been purchased over the past year or two there have been bought by an institutional investor who has kept that and rented it. And so instead of having 100% of inventory available for you and me to buy, we're down to about 60% of available inventory for you and me to buy.
Okay, so I'll go out on a limb here, but you know how you'll talk to older generations, the grandparents out there, and they'll say, I want to leave the world a better place for my grandchildren.
Surely.
If you're in a position in your 60s or 70s to sell your home and you sell it to an institutional lender, kind of in essence, you're dooming your grandchildren to have to be renters. Is that
well, I mean, that's a broad statement, but that potentially could be the case. And I think we need to be thoughtful of home ownership for those generations to follow.
Yes.
Because as you study people's personal net worth, the people who are renters traditionally have a much smaller net worth, personal net worth, than people who own their own home.
They also don't have a fixed rate.
For sure, and so your rate is 100% because you're paying 100% of somebody else's mortgage,
And
right?
whatever they determine that rate to be.
Rate to be, and so it's difficult. So we would love to see, if when you see these signs where people say, hey, let me buy your home, or I guarantee to buy your home, I would ask what my home would sell for in the open market first. Yes, it might be a little more complicated to sell, but you will absolutely net more money, and you will do your neighbor and your generational family a favor by giving them an opportunity to keep that house in the housing market.
Right.
Because between institutional people buying, and now that we have interest rates that are higher, if you've got a 2% interest rate or 3% interest rate, and you're thinking of moving, but gosh, you've got to now get a 7% interest rate, you might be a little more hesitant to move. So that's going to bring even fewer homes into the market as well.
Absolutely.
So that drives prices up. So that's why I feel like prices will stay up, but it's a little artificial in that there's just not the inventory.
But it can always be a good time when you have the right realtor working with you
Absolutely.
to sell your home. And if you're out there looking to buy one, Charlotte Mabry and her team are also very skilled in the entire area to help you find the home that you're looking for, and you can trust them. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
You'll find her online at charlottemabryteam.com. Their phone number is 593-5588.
Zaxby's Chicken Finger Plate comes with 12 dippable, dunkable, do-it-any-way-you-wantable sauces, and a plate of our hand-breaded fingers. Oh, and don't forget the napkins. Famous fried chicken, endless sauceabilities, only at Zaxby's.
Your talent is that of a superstar.